kind of talk as I'm setting up, since we have a limited time. So I did calligraphy for mine, and the reason is because I've always kind of like, I'm gonna sound like such a child. Like coloring books were always like a de-stressor for me. I know that sounds very like childish, but like just having to focus on keeping the marker from going out of the lines, like that was something that was always like a de-stressor for me. And then when we were studying Ruism, we had to watch a video on calligraphy. There was like a recommended video on calligraphy, and I thought that was very interesting. And so I decided to do calligraphy for this project. And so in doing my research on calligraphy, there's two parts of calligraphy, or they consider two beauties of calligraphy, which I think is really interesting. The first beauty is the like heart or the aesthetic beauty, which is like the physical form of the characters, right? So that's going to be like physically connecting here, like the length down. So there's that physical beauty of actually like following a pattern, or following like a guide. And then there's the hidden beauty, which I think relates a lot more to meditation. And the hidden beauty is, what is your intention behind what you're doing? Why are you doing this? Like, what are you hoping to get out of this? So I chose 3 Chinese characters because calligraphy is a huge part of Chinese culture, but really you could draw anything. Since we're studying Ruism and Taoism, I thought it would be better if we did Chinese calligraphy. So I chose 3 pretty broad characters so that they can kind of be interpreted to anyone. So there's strength, courage, and then this is faith. So if you have like a pen, a sheet of paper, and you want to try following along, you can. It's not going to be the same as like with like a paintbrush, but it's still something that can be tried. Anyway. I'm going to kind of go along with it as it's playing on the screen. Except the screen probably won't go faster. Okay, so if I'm correct, this one is, okay. It looks like strength in a download, so we'll do the other 2. Okay, so I'll start with courage. So this one is courage, and it's starting midway through. Look back. I also apologize that it's kind of off-centered. I was trying to record by putting it on a shelf, and it was very difficult.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
Wow.
So, like I said, the symbol for courage is this one on the far, kind of like the 2 pluses, half square, down. So I'm going to play the video as I'm talking about it, and it's probably going to go faster, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Okay, so the first step is kind of creating these, like, plus, oh, no sound. You don't need to hear my roommate walking in the room. Hold up. Let's turn off the sounds. There we go. Oh my god, sorry, I had to do this during the day. Anyway. So, kind of creating these plus-like signs. This one is a little more curved. The next step is this half box-like, and this one goes a little bit further than the past one. And then creating a straight line that connects over here. And then you have an extension down here, and then one that comes through the center line. Oh, I did it faster than that. Anyway, not the greatest version of calligraphy, but it's kind of like a rough idea of what it is. I'm not that awesome at calligraphy, but it's kind of just this idea of having to follow a pattern. So I looked up a picture online, and I was following the pattern that it gave me. But I chose, like I said, I chose Chinese calligraphy because that's what we're studying. We're studying a lot about Chinese religion and philosophy, but the reality is this could be applied to so many different ideas and things. If you want to make, if you had a drawing that had that hidden beauty in it, you can transform into some type of meditation. And I think that's one of the really cool things about the 2 aspects of beauty and calligraphy. It can have this hidden beauty, which is what your intentions of it are, while following this pattern, which relates back to a lot of what Ruism and Taoism said. Like Taoism was the whole idea of following nature, following patterns that are already set in place. Should I do strength? Yeah. We'll do strength, okay. Okay, and then this one is strength. Faith. No, faith. My bad. Strength didn't load.
Why does it sound day?
Okay, there we go. Okay. So again, if you want me to say it, so it's kind of a stroke up, and then one straight line down. I can't do it with this brush, but it kind of like fades out at the end. And then there's these lines, which are intentionally, so a smaller one long one, another one the same length as the top one, and then almost one that's just like an extended dot. And this bottom one is kind of a square that has a little twist on it, I guess you could say. So straight line and then kind of extension down. Another kind of like a start of a triangle and then a straight line that connects to the end. So that's that one. And like, so what I did when I did my calligraphy is I like put on music, like calming music, and just kind of like went and did things. I chose these three broad intentions just because I'm thinking faith, courage, and strength are kind of like universal ideas that we all need. But like if you wanted one, like there's friendship, if you wanted, you're having a problem with friends, you want to focus on that, that can be your inner intention. But the whole idea is like whatever you need, whatever you want, you can focus on that and make that your intention and then follow these patterns as you kind of go along. And I think it can also go beyond just calligraphy. It doesn't have to be a symbol or a character in Mandarin or anything. It can be a painting, a drawing, a coloring, like just something that's having you focus and there's an intention behind what you're doing. Anyway, questions? I think we're good. Yeah. Are there any questions?
Do you think you're going to continue practicing?
I'll see if I'll continue practicing like Chinese characters in calligraphy. They're very interesting, but like you didn't like. There's so many sheets of paper that I was like, this is wrong, like. So because I was like, I wanted to make sure it was good. So maybe different types, but I think it is another form of like meditation. And Professor Song knows this because I wrote about this in like almost every immersive essay. Like I cannot meditate no matter, like meditation before I came here was like, I just can't do it. Because I always thought of meditation as sitting like crisscross applesauce and like your hips hurting because of that and like just not working out well. And now I realize there's so many different types of meditation, walking, sitting meditation, this type of meditation. So yes, but maybe not in this form of meditation.
Have you realized the way you write Chinese calligraphy is similar to Tai Chi martial arts?
Yeah.
Right?
It's very...
Laura, there's there's no stopping point, and there's always inflow.
Yeah,
it's really
so I didn't, when I was demonstrating, I didn't do a great job of like showing the flow because it was a little bit harder when I was going step by step. But like the one thing that I thought was really cool about strength, and I'll show it like here, is like here it's like starts really strong here and then it kind of like fades off. And then as you finish here, you kind of like check up and then just like let it flow. So it was interesting how it's very just like it's very intentional and it's very flowy and it's just kind of like gone type thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you think the meaning of the practice would still be there if you didn't know the meaning of the character? Or does it sort of rely on that?
I think the practice is still present. I think the meaning behind it makes it more of like how why you're practicing. So like you can still practice and it can still be a form of meditation. But like one thing we talk about like sitting meditation is make it more philosophical, make it more religious. You have that intention behind it. So you can still practice and it can still be beneficial, but having that intention behind it just takes it a step further to make it a little more spiritual, I think. At least that's my interpretation. Yeah.
Good. Maybe last question. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Is it possible to do it with like a pen or a pencil?
Yeah,
like,
so
because I'm trying and this is really hard with
so
like a pencil.
with the characters like this, it's much harder that I
It doesn't
found.
go like thick.
Yeah, so when you're trying to do like the calligraphy, it's a lot harder because it's supposed to be like changing from thick to thin and back to
Right.
thick. But there's there's other types of like calligraphy you can do with like basic like writing English. You can add calligraphy here and there, but like it's not the same. I don't think without the the paintbrush and the
yeah.
But yeah.
But do you practice calligraphy in English? Have you ever?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like, it's more just like making letters thicker. So if you have like a cursive H on the
Okay.
downstroke, you just put an extra line to make it
That's
like
what I
thicker.
did, yeah, I had to go back
Yeah.
and fill in
That's-
the blank.
Pretty much, that's what calligraphy is when you add it to English.
Do you know how to do like in traditional? Is this a simplified?
Yes, these are the simplified versions. Yeah.
Traditional is a pain.
Yeah, that's why I did the simplified versions.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Megan. Yeah, it's wonderful.